my science friends. We're on week 34, day 2. Day 2, Tuesday. Okay, super cute day. Yesterday we talked about interactions. Today we're going to talk about succession. And some of you guys might be like, what is succession? Well, we're going to find out today. I know you're super pumped. Okay, so I'm on page 30 with the bees again. Okay, what happens to an area in the forest that was burned in a forest fire? Right, completely. It will have to start over, right? Okay, after major disruption, the damage of the environment undergoes a natural process called ecological succession. Ecological succession, so this is our first vocab word. Ecological succession. Okay, that's a vocab word. Ecological succession is a gradual replacement of one type of biological community by another through a series of changes. So a gradual replacement, right? Of one type of biological community by another through a series of changes, such as when a pond fills with grasses and becomes a meadow. There are two types of ecological succession. Primary got a phone call. Sorry, it interrupted me. Okay, so there are two types of ecological succession: primary succession and secondary succession. So we're going to talk about the first one first, is primary succession. So primary succession. And I'm moving on to page 31 right now. Okay, the development of a plant and animal communities in an area where living things have never existed is called primary succession. So this is development of plants and animals in an area where living things have never existed. Can you think of where this might be? Like maybe a new island where the volcano erupts, right? Nothing's ever lived there before, but with sunshine and algae coming up from the ocean, plants could start to grow there. And then if plants start to grow there, guess what else is going to migrate there? Animals, right? Okay, so like a new island. Okay. The first species to appear in the new land are called pioneer species. These are usually mosses and lynches. How do you think mosses and lynches arrive on new land? These organisms grow with very few nutrients. They make up soil by breaking down rock and becoming part of the soil when it dies. Gradually, the grasses and other small plants, such as small shrubs and trees, take root. Eventually, a relatively stable community is called a climax community. So, climax community is our next word. Okay. It reaches through the plant succession. So this is a new, relatively stable community. Is a climax community. It reaches through the plant succession. Different environments have different climax communities. At what point is a primary succession do you think the animal species appear? Probably not until something is like climax community, because like animals won't show up unless they can depend on the source for a very long time. Like I don't know, like bugs. Like if they come and they eat all the grass, guess what's going to happen? They're going to have to move on. So if that grass is not replacing itself, then they're going to have to leave. Does that make sense? So, turning the page. Okay, so now we're going to talk about secondary succession. So this is our next vocabulary word, secondary succession. Okay, so this comes like after, is regrowth of a community. So regrowth of a community. Like if a forest fire takes out, and then the forest will start growing again. So that would be secondary. Okay. That is an area that the soil was already recently inhabited by other organisms. It occurs after such disturbances as hurricanes, fires, landslides, floods, logging, farming, and grazing. Regrowth occurs more quickly in secondary succession than new growth in primary succession. Why do you think this happens? Because the soil is already stable. Does that make sense? So regrowth is quick, right? Okay. The pioneer species of a secondary succession are typically grasses that grow faster than plants. Only days after the forest fire, grasses and fast-growing wildflowers begin to sprout. How is that possible that these plants are able to regrow so quickly? Over time, long-lived, slower-growing trees will become more dominant species to establish homeostasis as secondary succession in a climax community. What is the driving force in the changes of the climax community? Probably animals, and I don't know, it just grows faster. Probably the soil, right? Soil helps everything grow faster. Okay, so you guys are going to finish this lesson by doing 1 through 4 on page 33. See you tomorrow.